Why do you carry a camera with your coat?
Well, I take pictures of the coat all the time.
Would you?
I have fun, dude.
I don't mean to butt in, but I have a job I have to do. See, they sent me in here for some reason.
When is the regular guy coming?
You want to rock his world? Kiss me. No tongue.
That was the first, I think Nancy, well, I can't see because the lights are, that was the first interracial kiss by two heterosexual women on a television drama, wasn't it? I don't know if John Leverance is here, but isn't that a new Emmy category? Let's do a Southern gal question here. Sheila and Dixie and Nancy and Barbara and Annie.
There's a lot of us from the South, aren't there?
Right. We're pretty much controlling this
Why do you
panel.
think that is?
And, you know, Lorraine, you know, deep South, Trinidad, that's...
I win.
Yeah. What about the experiences from you two sitting here, growing up? Did your parents understand what you wanted to do?
I'm not sure what the question is.
All right.
I've gotten totally lost.
Okay.
Tell us about your experiences growing up in the South.
As a Southern woman?
No. You've been in the South, right? Well, then answer the question. No, I'm just... Sheila is you're on the cover of everything now. I swear to God, I went through the airport the other day. I picked up a Field and Stream magazine. And the cover story was Sheila Ward, women over 40, and the bait they use. But you don't have a cell phone.
I don't have a cell phone.
Why is that?
Because they can find me.
They can find where you are.
They can find out.
Well, now
where
why
I'm at.
is it now? Now wait a minute. I'm confused on the races. You know that you see these race car guys, and you're talking to people in the pits, and you're talking on things the whole time you're driving, but you won't talk to me when you're on the I-40.
That's a little bit different.
Right.
Okay. That's strictly business deal. 2/3 of the talking on the telephone, if not 90%, is just how's the weather, how's things going. You know, instead of saying, you know,
Yeah.
I'm asking you where am I at and where do I need to go. Now that's okay.
Yeah, right.
But the majority of the time it's just a bunch of chatter, and I don't have time to mess.
I don't know where I am half the time anyway. Were you using during your playing career, I guess is what I'm getting at?
It was something that started during my playing career, particularly end of my career when beyond alcohol was when I began to experiment with other kinds of things.
How did that enhance or detract from your performance on the field?
Well, it took away from my performance because you know, it deters or it deteriorates you physically. And the other thing is that you lose your concentration and your commitment. So it actually takes away. I'm glad it was something that came along in the latter part of my career rather than the early parts.
Were you surprised by Edwards' lack of strength here in the South?
I really don't think it is a surprise. I think we saw vestiges of that seeping into this election early on. Edwards, you got to remember, is a guy who came out of nowhere to run for Senate, was a one-termer, as you pointed out last night, and then took to the national stage before he really built up those chips, before he really built up that solid base in North Carolina. So he doesn't have the following of a Howard Coble or even a Richard Burr. He jumped to the national stage and thought he could help carry. So again, that's why I say I think, you know, it's obvious that Edwards was positioning himself for 2008. It's just up to Hillary Clinton whether he's positioning himself for the White House or the State House in Raleigh. Why didn't Rolfe and Liesel have sex in the movie?
Well, because they were good Catholics.
They were.
They might have been a Lutheran. I'm not sure, but
They were supposed to be, you know, like she was 16 going on 17, he was 17 going on 18, but really she was how old?
She was 22.
And you were
20.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Longworth, and tonight I'll be the only man with 13 women.
Welcome to an evening of big love. Catherine Filene thought she knew what a woman's place was. In her 1920 book, Careers for Women, Filene said that the best career for women was working, quote, with mentally defective people. Which probably explains why at most network meetings you'll find one woman surrounded by a bunch of men. I'm going to ask Jean and Angela to. I didn't even ask you if I could call you Angela.
Well, that's my name. Most people call me Angie, so I'm not used to being called Angie.
Nobody calls you Angie.
Yeah, they sure do.
Who calls you Angie?
Everybody.
Well, I don't. I'm not going to. It's not dignified. I think all the early murders she wrote were written by men. Did you begin to get women writers?
We never had women writers. Isn't that incredible? No, we never did. I wanted to have women writers, but for reasons which are too long-winded to go into, after all, I was in name the executive producer for a very short span of time.
I used to be the crying, sniveling, victimized woman. I sold so many babies for crack and been beat up by the husband. In coming up in the industry, that
you're just a great role model, aren't you?
This is of Robert Wagner and yours truly 30 years ago in Los Angeles promoting the show Switch. Now, if you look closely at the close-up, one of us has retained his movie star good looks, and the other one has just gotten older.
Jimmy, I don't think so.
Oh,
I got to watch you every minute. You know. Okay. Thank God you didn't become an actor.
Well, I act up.
Yeah.
I act badly. And you had Freeway and Heart to Heart, which was a big, that wasn't just a prop. I mean, he became a part of the show.
Well, with Freeway, we kept him on the set with us. He was never in a cage. We never put him in a cage, and he ran around all the time. But when I'd be doing love scenes, and Stephanie and I'd be doing love scenes together, the trainer would be saying, sit down. And we'd have to get the dialogue in between because he didn't work on hand cues. Usually they work on hand cues.
That's
so
right.
It'd be, come on. Darling, I love you. Sit down. I really do. Get up, It was like that.
Was there a lot of panting going on?
Yeah, there was a lot of panting.
I meant from the dog.
Yeah, from the dog and a bit from me as well. I got to watch you every minute,